Welcome to part 2 of the executive interview with Alleasing CEO Robert Spano. What are some of the factors businesses are looking for in terms of what will get them to increase their capital expenditure?
I think confidence is the most underlying issue that people need to have before they'll commit themselves to a capital program. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a certain amount of restructuring that needs to happen at infrastructure level from the government perspective, and I do believe the government needs to show the way and perhaps invest in a bit more infrastructure for most of Australia, and the more infrastructure the more money they spend on infrastructure, I think the add-on businesses will gain a lot of confidence. What they're not seeing is that although there's some big projects that are earmarked to the airport in New South Wales, for example, I think that there just needs to be that next bit of reform to help the big business, so to speak, to get back out there spending money again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess that was one of the key takeouts, was that New South Wales businesses, a lot of them are increasing their capital expenditure purely because of a project-based decision, and that's just not the case in Western Australia any longer.
Yeah, well, there's not the infrastructure spending that in WA that we're having here in Sydney. Recently the Victorians there's a couple of businesses or multinational companies that have left Victoria because there's not the infrastructure spending that's happening in Victoria that people were expecting to see, whether it be roadways or airports or infrastructure that New South Wales seems to be quite keen on spending on. And I think Queensland will lead the way from that perspective as well, although they're quite a depressed state at the moment because of the mining boom. I think the Queensland government's looking to spend some money on infrastructure and therefore get their economy going that way. I think that's one of the key things that have to happen. But unless there's reform with the federal government, and unless there's reform to the taxation system and the way we collect our money, I think businesses will continue to sit on their hands until they see that lead from the government. Yeah,
it's definitely a common theme there. I guess asset sales only take us so far. There needs to be a bit of guidance from a fiscal perspective from the banks there in infrastructure development. So of the businesses that are increasing their asset base, are they predominantly locally sourcing those assets or from abroad?
Yeah, the Australian dollar's having an impact on that, and I think that the majority of our customers will go to locally supplied products. The secondary reason behind not just the dollar but also the additional maintenance and services that support the asset provider tends to be locally based, and therefore locally made products are growing. We found in our latest survey that is an area of growth in the economy.
Excellent. Well, I guess it is very much a story of businesses are actually quite confident in their own business, their operational efficiency, but they're just waiting for that stimulus in order to react.
Well, I think one of the things that we have learnt over the last few years is to become more focused on our cost base, and I think a lot of those businesses have got their cost base right. I think the big iron ore players, for example, all they keep doing is cutting back costs and making sure that their cost base is right, so that when the next boom occurs, that they've got the right margins in place. So I do believe that we're in a position to grow. We just need a little bit more confidence to grow.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for the results update there. And for next round coming out in September, we'll be looking at the New Zealand market for the very first time, asset and equipment financing decisions there across the Tasman, in addition to the Australian round 5 results as well. We look forward to sharing those results with you.